देखो आज हम करने जा रहे हैं, अभी टॉपिक मैंने बता भी दिया है, इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ पॉवर्टी एस्टिमेशन। टॉपिक हमारा होगा इंटरनेशनल इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड स्टैंडर्ड इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ पॉवर्टी एस्टिमेशन ऑफ पॉवर्टी एस्टिमेशन एस्टिमेशन पॉवर्टी एस्टिमेशन। ठीक है, अब इसमें थोड़ा सा लिखोगे तब आगे बात जान पाओगे। लिखो एट वर्ल्ड लेवल यूनाइटेड नेशन डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम, वर्ल्ड लेवल यूनाइटेड नेशंस डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम यूएनडीपी, यूनाइटेड नेशन डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम, यूनाइटेड नेशन डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम यूएनडीपी sets parameter to measure poverty, sets parameter to measure poverty, sets parameter to measure poverty, whereas in India, whereas in India, whereas in India, Niti Aayog on the recommendation, Niti Aayog on the recommendation, Niti Aayog on the recommendation of committees, recommendation of committees set the parameter to measure poverty, set the parameter to measure poverty, set the parameter to measure poverty, parameter to measure poverty. अगला पॉइंट, earlier UNDP has set up human poverty, earlier UNDP had set up human poverty index, set up human poverty index HPI as a parameter to measure poverty in its human development report, in its human development report, but 2010 onward is switched over, onward it switched over to a new parameter, namely multi-dimension poverty index, namely multi-dimension poverty index, MPI, Lorenz curve and Gini coefficient, are the two international methods, of poverty estimation, poverty estimation। अब देखो जरा, हमने एक बहुत फेमस नाम सुना था पॉवर्टी मेजर का, लॉरेंज। आज उस लॉरेंज पे बात करेंगे। हमारा है लॉरेंज, लॉ और रेंज, RENG, लॉरेंज कर्व। इस पर क्वेश्चन पूछे जाते हैं। लॉरेंज जेड है, ठीक है, लॉरेंज कर्व। अब लॉरेंज कर्व क्या है, इसके बारे में एक लाइन लिखो, फिर आगे बताता हूँ कर्व बना के। इट मेजर द इनकम डिस्पैरिटी, इट मेजर द इनकम disparity, it measures the income disparity between countries, disparity between countries disparity between countries. It is developed by Maxo Lawrence. It is developed by Maxo, developed by Maxo Lawrence in the year Maxo Lawrence in the year 1905. In the year 1905. In the year 1905. 1905. आगे ये point on this curve, ये point on this curve shows those individuals, shows those individuals, shows those individuals, those individuals who are below a certain percentage, who are below a certain percentage, certain percentage of income Lawrence curve, percentage of income Lawrence curve, income Lawrence curve, display inequalities, display inequalities, display inequalities, display inequalities, full stop. Therefore, the absolute parity line, therefore the absolute parity line, therefore the absolute parity line, absolute parity line remains as far as, remains as far as, remains as far as from the Lorentz curve, as far as from the Lorentz curve, from the Lorentz curve, greater will be the disparity, greater will be the disparity, greater will be the disparity, disparity in income and vice versa, in income and vice versa, in income and vice versa. अब ये बनाने जा रहा हूं, ये देखिए income and vice versa. Cumulative population share, cumulative share in percentage यहाँ होगा cumulative population share in percentage, शेयर इन परसेंटेज। आप देखो लॉरेंस क्या कहता है, लॉरेंस ये कहता है इसमें, पहले ही मैंने लिखवाया कि लॉरेंस कहता क्या, लॉरेंस कहता है इट मेजर द इनकम डिस्पैरिटी बिटवीन कंट्रीज डेवलप। मैक्स लॉरेंस 1905, सबसे पहले इसने कब मेजर किया था, 1905। ये कहता क्या है, टू द पॉइंट दैट टू इंडिविजुअल बिलो द सर्टेन परसेंटेज ऑफ इनकम लॉरेंस ऑफ डिस्पैरिटी इनक्वालिटीज। इन्होंने ये कहा कि अगर 100 की ही पॉपुलेशन होती है, 100 में अगर 10 लोग एपीएल हैं, एपीएल, तो 90% लोग बीपीएल होंगे। सिंपल सा फॉर्मूला, यानी जितने लोग पॉवर्टी लाइन से बाहर हैं, तो जो बचे हुए लोग हैं वो गरीब हैं। सिंपल सी बात है, ये समझ आया इतना। और ये गरीबी का कारण ये कहता है इनइक्वलिटीज है। तो यहाँ पर एक बात मैं आप लोगों को बताता हूँ, इनइक्वलिटीज जो है वो क्यों है, स्किल की वजह से है। पैसा सबको बराबर दे दिया गया, लेकिन जिसके पास स्किल ज्यादा है वो आगे बढ़ जाएगा, और जिसके पास स्किल कम है वह वहीं रह जाएगा। तो यहाँ पर ये चीज इसने कहा। अब लिखो गिनी कोफिशिएंट, गिनी कोफिशिएंट, इट वाज डेवलप्ड बाय इटालियन statistician, developed by Italian statistician Corrado Gini, Corrado Gini in 1912, Corrado Gini in 1912. It is a measure of inequality, measure of inequality of income distribution, income distribution. It is defined as a ratio, defined as a ratio with values between 0 and 1. दूसरा पॉइंट, गिनी कोफिशिएंट ऑफ 1, गिनी कोफिशिएंट ऑफ 1 ब्रैकेट में 100 और परसेंटाइल स्केल, 100 और परसेंटाइल स्केल, परसेंटाइल स्केल expresses maximum, expresses maximum, maximum inequality and zero shows, inequality and zero shows minimum inequality, zero shows minimum inequality, full stop. According to UNDP, according to UNDP, according to UNDP, global Gini coefficient rate, global coefficient rate 0.66, 0.66, 0.66, 0.66. India's Gini coefficient is, India's Gini coefficient is 0.37, 0.37 to 0.42, 0.42, 0.42 हो गया, 0.42। अब पैराग्राफ चेंज करो, ये गिनी कोफिशिएंट 1, ये गिनी कोफिशिएंट 1, ये गिनी कोफिशिएंट 1 100 ऑन परसेंटाइल स्केल, 100 ऑन परसेंटाइल स्केल एक्सप्रेसेस, परसेंटाइल स्केल एक्सप्रेसेस, एक्सप्रेसेस maximum inequality among value, maximum inequality among value, maximum inequality among value where only one person, where only one person has all the income, one person has all the income, one person has all the income. Next point, the Gini coefficient is usually defined, the Gini coefficient is usually defined mathematically based, defined mathematically based, mathematically based on the Lorentz curve, based on the Lorentz curve, on the Lorentz curve, which plot the proportions, which plots the, which plot the proportions of the total income, proportions of total income, proportions of total income of the population y-axis, of the populations y-axis, that is that is cumulatively earned, that is cumulatively earned by the bottom, earned by the bottom, by the bottom x% of the population, by the bottom x% of the population. Full stop. The line at 45 degrees, the line at 45 degrees Guinea, 45 degrees Guinea, thus represent perfect equality, represent perfect equality, perfect equality of income, perfect equality of income. Gini coefficient is equal to A upon A plus B. Gini coefficient is equal to Gini coefficient is equal to A upon A plus B. Gini coefficient is equal to A upon A plus B. Where A is area of Lorentz curve, where A is area of Lorentz, Lorentz curve, area of Lorentz curve is area below Lorentz curve. B is equal to area below Lorentz curve, एरिया बिलो लॉरेंज कर्व. ठीक है, अब इसमें लिखो इन इक्वलिटी एडजस्टमेंट, अगला पॉइंट होगा इन इक्वलिटी एडजस्टमेंट, इनइक्वलिटी एडजस्टमेंट, इनइक्वलिटी एडजस्टमेंट में देखो Amar Singh through his capability approach, Amar Singh through his capability approach credited to the creation, credited to the creations of human development index, creation of human development index, HDI, human development index HDI. ये कंपोजिट मेजर ऑफ लाइफ, एसडीआई ये कंपोजिट मेजर ऑफ लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी, मेजर ऑफ लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी एंड पर कैपिटा इनकम, एंड पर कैपिटा इनकम. फुल स्टॉप. द कैपेबिलिटी अप्रोच इज एन, द कैपेबिलिटी अप्रोच इज एन economic theory, approach is an economic theory conceived as welfare economics, conceived as welfare economics, conceived as welfare economics. Next point, According to him, human development only. According to him, human development only can progress. Only can progress. If per capita income can progress is per capita income of all people get increase simultaneously gets increase simultaneously. Once there is increase, once there is increase in per capita income, once there is increase in per capita income and visible decrease in income inequality, decrease in income inequality, then there shall be increment, then there shall be increment in human development, increment in human development, increment in human development. W is equal to mu, W is equal to mu 1 minus G, mu 1 minus G, where W is equal to welfare, W is equal to welfare, where W is equal to welfare, mu is equal to per capita income, mu is equal to per capita income, mu is equal to per capita income, G is equal to age of inequality, G is equal to age of inequality, G is equal to age of inequality, ये हो जाएगा एज ऑफ इनइक्वालिटी. अब लिखो कमिटीज एसोसिएटेड विद पॉवर्टी एस्टिमेशन इन इंडिया. अगला टॉपिक आ जाओ. कमिटीज एसोसिएशन with poverty estimation in India. Estimation in India. यहाँ पे लिखो. There are various committees which were formed. There are various committees which were formed to estimate the poverty level in India. To estimate the poverty level in India. To estimate the poverty level in India. There are discussed as a follows. There are discussed as a follows. Discuss as a follows. अब हमारे पास आएगा लकड़ वाला कमेटी. डिस्कस एज ए फॉलोज लकड़ वाला कमेटी. लकड़ वाला कमेटी. लकड़ वाला कमेटी हो गया. लकड़ वाला कमेटी फॉलोज लकड़ वाला कमेटी. इसमें लिखना है इट वाज कॉन्स्टिट्यूटेड इन 1980. इट वाज कॉन्स्टिट्यूटेड इन 1980 by the planning commission. By the planning commission. By the planning commission to consider methodological methodological, to consider methodological and computational aspect and computational aspect of aspect of estimation of estimation of proportion and number of poor of proportion and number of poor proportion of number of poor in India, number of poor in India, number of poor in India. अगला point, the report of this committee was the report of this committee was the report of this committee was submitted in July 1993, submitted in July 1993, submitted in July 1993. Next, it suggested that the consumption it suggested that the consumption expenditure suggested that the consumption expenditure should be calculated calculated base on caloric consumption on caloric consumption on caloric consumption as earlier caloric consumption as earlier caloric consumption as earlier. Next, consumption as earlier. Next, it also suggested that state specific poverty line state specific poverty state specific poverty line should be constructed should be constructed should be constructed and these should be updated and these should be updated and these should be updated using consumer price index using consumer consumer price index CPI industrial workers industrial worker in urban area industrial worker in urban area and agriculture labor in rural area agriculture labor in rural area. अब आएगा तेंदुलकर कमेटी रिपोर्ट. नेक्स्ट है तेंदुलकर कमेटी रिपोर्ट. तेंदुलकर कमेटी रिपोर्ट. तेंदुलकर कमेटी रिपोर्ट इसको लिखो. तेंदुलकर कमेटी रिपोर्ट. तेंदुलकर कमेटी हेडेड बाय प्राइम मिनिस्टर. तेंदुलकर कमेटी headed by Prime Minister, Economic Advisor, headed by Prime Minister, Economic Advisor, Mr. Suresh Tendulkar, Mr. Suresh Tendulkar was set up in March 2009, was set up in March 2009, set up in March 2009 to look into the methodology of estimating poverty in India full stop. Tendulkar committee submitted its report. Tendulkar committee submitted its report in December 2009. In December 2009, in December 2009, to the Planning Commission, 2009, to the Planning Commission, to the Planning Commission. Next, using this approach, new poverty line, using this approach, new poverty line for the year 2004 and 5, for the year 2004 and 5 has been raised from 356 per capita per month, 356 per 356 rupees per capita per month, per person per month होगा 356 per person per month, and rupees 447 per person per month rural area, per person per month rural area from 539 per capita per month, 539 per capita per month, and 579 per capita per month in urban area, per capita per month in urban area. In daily term poverty line, in daily term poverty line, in daily term poverty line has been raised from 12 to 15 per capita, has been raised from 12 to 15 per day in rural area, per capita per day in rural area, per day in rural area, and from rupees 18, and from rupees 18 per capita per day, rupees 18 per capita per day to 19 per capita per day in urban area, to 19 per capita per day in urban area, per capita per day in urban area. Next, the new updated data release, the new updated data release, by the commission base, released by the commission base, on the price indices computed, on the price indices computed from the 16 round, computed from the 16 round, and 16 round NSS 2009 and 10, NSS 2009 and 10, 2009 and 10. Data on household consumer, data on household consumer, data on household consumer expenditure survey, consumer expenditure survey, consumer expenditure survey. Say anyone who has rupees 28, say anyone who has rupees 28 to spend daily, 28 to spend daily, in out of poverty, to spend daily in out of poverty, to spend daily in out of poverty. Next, it has estimated the poverty line, it has estimated the poverty line at all India level, at all India level, at all India level as MPCE, as MPCE, monthly per capita consumption expenditure, monthly per capita consumption expenditure, per capita consumption expenditure, per capita consumption expenditure. Rupees 1000 for rural area, rupees 1000 for rural area, 1000 for rural area, and 860 for urban area, and 860 for urban area in 2009 and 10, urban area in 2009 and 10, in 2009 and 10, 9 and 10. आगे लिखो SR हासिम कमेटी, थोड़ा तेज लिखो, नहीं वहां नहीं लिख पाओगे। हासिम कमेटी लिखाते इसलिए कि तुम्हारी स्पीड भी मेंटेन रहे लिखने की रोज। SR हासिम कमेटी। द प्लानिंग कमीशन हैज कॉन्स्टिट्यूटेड, द प्लानिंग कमीशन हैज कॉन्स्टिट्यूटेड an expert group, constituted an expert group, measurement of poverty and expert group, measurement of poverty, UNDP, measurement of poverty, UNDP, under the chairmanship of, under the chairmanship of SR Hasim, under the chairmanship of SR Hasim, SR Hasim, on 13 May 2010, on 13 May 2010, to recommended detail, to recommended detail methodology for, to recommended detail methodology for identification of BPL families, identification of BPL families, identification of BPL families in urban area, BPL families in urban area, BPL families in urban area, in the context of the 12th 5-year plan, in the context of the 12th 5-year plan, context of the 12th 5-year plan. Next point, the panel has suggested that, next point, the panel has suggested that, the panel has suggested that the government should use, the government should use, the government should use ये 3 स्टेज अप्रोच, ये 3 स्टेज अप्रोच, ये 3 स्टेज अप्रोच, 3 स्टेज अप्रोच, ऑटोमेटिक एक्सक्लूजन, ऑटोमेटिक एक्सक्लूजन, ऑटोमेटिक एक्सक्लूजन, ऑटोमेटिक एक्सक्लूजन, ऑटोमेटिक इंक्लूजन, ऑटोमेटिक inclusion, automatic inclusion, and scoring index to, and scoring index to identify urban poor, scoring index to identify urban poor, identify urban poor. Next point, Rangarajan committee. Next for Rangarajan, Rangarajan committee, Rangarajan committee, Rangarajan committee. The expert group under the chairmanship of, the expert group under the chairmanship of C. Rangarajan, under the chairmanship of C. Rangarajan, C. Rangarajan, to review the methodology, to review the methodology for measurement of poverty, for measurement of poverty in the country, for measurement of poverty in the country, measurement of poverty in the country, in the country, constituted by planning commission, constituted by planning commission, constituted by planning commission in June 2012, in June 2012, in June 2012, has submitted its report, has submitted its report, has submitted its report on 30 June 2014, on 30 June 2014, 30 June 2014. Next, the report retained consumption expenditure, the report retained consumption expenditure, consumption expenditure, estimate of NSSO, estimate of NSSO, NSSO, as the basis for determining poverty, as the basis for determining poverty, basis for determining poverty. On the basis of this, on the basis of this, on the basis of this, It picked the total number of poor. It picked the total number of poor. It picked the total number of poor in India at 363 million. In India at 363 million. 363 million are 29.6%, are 29.6%, are 29.6% of population. 29.6% of population. 6% of population. This is higher than 269.8 million. This is higher than 269.8 million. 269.8 million. 8 million poor people are 21.9% picked. 21.9% picked by Suresh Tendulkar committee. Picked by Suresh Tendulkar committee. Picked by Suresh Tendulkar committee. अब अगली आउटलाइन एंड लास्ट आउटलाइन इन दिस क्लास, स्टेटस ऑफ पॉवर्टी इन इंडिया. ये लिखना होगा, स्टेटस ऑफ poverty in India. Status of poverty in India. Status of poverty in India. इस पे काम करना हो. Status of poverty in India. There is substantial decline in poverty. There is substantial decline in poverty. Ratio in India. Decline in poverty ratio in India. Ratio in India from about 45%. From about 45%. From about 45%. In 1993. In 1993. 94 to about 21.9%. To about 21.9%. To about 21.9%. In 2011 and 12. In 2011 and 12. 2011 and 12, India lifted 271 million. Lifted 271 million. Lifted 271 million people out of poverty. People out of poverty. People out of poverty between 2006 and 2016. Between 2006 and 2016. If the trend continues, if the trend continues, if the trend continues, people below poverty line, people below poverty line, people below poverty line may come down to less than, may come down to less than, come down to less than 20% in the 20% in the 20% in the next few years. 20% in the next few years. Next few years. Next, in a given year in India, in a given year in India, in a given year in India, official poverty line, given year in India, official poverty line, official poverty line, find higher in some state, find higher in some state, find higher in some state, some state, then in other, because, then in other, because, then in other, because price level vary, price level vary, price level vary from state to state, from state to state, from state to state. बस खत्म क्लास.